For the past 15 years, I've been developing brand media campaigns for businesses, personalities, and, well, now I'm here. You see, recently I crossed an Atlantic Ocean, and I was traveling for quite a few weeks. We spent over 50 team members putting this project together, hundreds of hours. And when it was all said and done, I was thinking that it feels very personal to me. So I asked my friend about what he thought that we did. He was like, Dmitry, you did an amazing job. It looks so wonderful. It looks like AI made it. And I was like, wow. Anyways, let's play a quick game. Raise your hand if you already used some type of AI to ask a question or generate something. Okay, now keep your hand up and look around this room. This is it. Well, welcome to the future. Now let's play another game. Raise your hand if you've seen something online that seemed like it was made by AI or it was made by a human being and you weren't sure if it's fake or not. Great. I felt the same way. This is our reality now. Doesn't matter what we see online, we wonder whether it was made by a human or a line of code. Well, that drives a serious division in our society. You see, half of the world is against AI. They're saying it's gonna, run our world into the apocalypse. It's gonna murder our children and take our jobs. Well, the other half of the world says that AI is the future, that we should just let it take the wheel and it's gonna solve all of our problems. I kind of disagree with both. You see, between wars of humans versus humans and humans versus robots, I think there needs to be a middle path. Golden path to a brighter future. Now, how do we get there? What's the point? Well, it's a TEDx talk, so I want to show you some graphs. That's a real statistic of OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT and runs it. This is how much its usage dropped when the school season ended. It's over 50%. Those are children, college students, outsourcing their critical thinking, outsourcing their wonder, and, their imagination. I mean, I cheated a little bit at school, slipping little pieces of paper in my pens, but this is a whole nother level. I'm telling you. Why is that important? Recently, MIT did a study. Yes, we aware that ChatGPT can be dangerous, but it led to the actual physical atrophy of a human brain, if overused. That study is a little bit misleading. You see, it's very easy to paint artificial intelligence as the enemy here, as something that we should rebel against. In reality, I think that's what's happening. AI is the stick, the bicycle is also AI. Honestly, this is our life. And the guy, that's me every day, to be honest. And this is the point, it's the tool that we use. And the way we use it determines our future and our health. So, for that reason, I decided to put together a quick list on how to use AI without turning into a brain-dead zombie. So, number one, give your gray matter a go. Right now it's very easy to go to AI and just ask for things and it spits out amazing results, seemingly so, but it's very important to do the hard work first and imagine things. When we initiate the imagination process, that's when we take the steering wheel. That's when we start the drive. It's important to understand similarities and differences between those neural networks, the one that is in our head and others that are deep underground in the servers. If you put garbage in, it's going to spit out more garbage, but slightly in a different color, maybe. So that drives me to the second point, why it's so important to outline your ideas. Before you even go to AI, you have to figure out where you're starting and imagine where you want to end up. You don't have to imagine all the check marks and all the points, but at least imagine your whole path. And that's when you can think out loud and let your ideas bounce inside of your head. Let's look into the future. Let's imagine we have androids in our home, and we can tell them to do things. And I don't know, let's say you want some milk, and you go, "Android, bring me milk." He goes like, "Okay." So he goes to a grocery store, grabs you a carton of milk, but also there's the same chance it's going to break into somebody else's farm, steal a cow, and bring you a whole cow and be like, "Look, this is the freshest milk I could find for you. It's right there." See, this would not happen if you were more precise with your direction. If you told it that you want a half gallon of organic milk in a glass container, multiple bottles if necessary, purchased from this particular farmer, that yields a different result. And that's why it's important to ask AI to improve your work, not replace it. That's exactly when we can reclaim that discipline of knowing what we want. And it's always been there. It's always been important to us as humans, but now with artificial intelligence and our relationship with it, it's becoming more and more important. Claiming that discipline is the very thing that will make us feel and stay alive. To leave you with something useful, I put together this little anatomy of setting a direction. This one is AI-centered, but honestly, this approach works even with humans, and in your business life, coworkers. You always start with your goal, of course. You don't have to read into the fine print. It's just an example. Most people limit their prompts just to that, 1 or 2 sentences. In this case, we're asking for a list of medium-length hikes, 2 hours of San Francisco. But this is just the beginning. You have to go into the return format, where you explain how you want your information to be presented to you, how you want it to be packaged, what should be in it and what's critical to you. Like here, for each hike, we want the name of the hike, the starting address, ending address, distance, drive time, all those details that are important to you. Then you go into your warnings. For example, be careful to make sure that the name of the trail is correct and that it actually exists. AI likes to imagine things sometimes. And then my favorite part, it's the context dump. When you're doing the context dump, you can just give as much information as you want. You can literally turn on your voice recording and just talk about your tastes, talk about your life, talk about anything really that can help it give you better results. So this is it, really. This is the skeleton. And that particular skeleton will give you much better results. That's exactly how we can stop being the consumer of those algorithms, and we can become creators. That's when we take the steering wheel. Creators, creative act, right? Why is that important? I mean, we are in the Arts Center, but why talk about creativity when the world is on fire? There's literal wars going on. In our society, we see creativity as a luxury, as something that we do when important work was done. It's like a hobby, it's a reward or a distraction, something that children do. Well, until wars tear you apart, until you lose your love for life, until you lose your family, that's when we as humans would turn to anything to make sense of it all, to heal our trauma, and to walk this life further. That's when the creative act becomes our medicine. It's always been in our human nature to create. That's how our societies and cultures connected across all those generations. That's something that brings us joy. And science proves it. This is how cortisol level drops just after 30 minutes of performing anything creative. You don't have to know how to draw. You can run around forest pretending you're a butterfly. And this is what happens to your body. You live a better life. Yet instead of doing that, what do? We choose to consume. We scroll social media, and let's say you do it roughly 2-3 hours a day over the course of 80 years. Well, okay, back then we didn't have iPhones, but now our children are brought to this world with iPads in their hands. Imagine they do this for 80 years. That's 10 years of their life spent consuming, scrolling, and now half of it is going to be just artificial intelligence-generated slop. How can we protect our children? How can we help them amplify their brain power, amplify their greatness, not turning them into brain-dead zombies if we don't know how to use that technology ourselves, if we turn away from it, if we ignore it? That's why I'm here. I want to tell you not to be pro-AI and not to be anti-AI either. I want you to be pro-self. Because in the world where black mirrors in our pockets will be able to reflect any kind of masterpiece, let's make sure that our humanity is still visible in that mirror. Thank you. Thank you.